The dollar has the world in its palm. The sad thing is that no one has been able to challenge its dominance. It has maintained American supremacy until now. Imagine a single currency, powerful enough to collapse economies, trigger wars, and keep billions trapped in poverty without ever crossing their borders. Why does a decision made in Washington shake the economy in Kenya? Why do countries like China and Russia stockpile US dollars? And how did one nation's currency become the boss of the global economy? More importantly, what happens if that power fades? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why every economy is dancing to the tune of the dollar, and why that dance might soon be changing. To understand how the dollar became the world's most powerful currency, we need to go back to 1944, to a quiet mountain town in New Hampshire called Bretton Woods. World War II was ending, and world leaders came together to reshape the global economy. What came out of that meeting? The Bretton Woods Agreement, a deal that made the US dollar the world's reserve currency. Why the dollar? Because the US had the world's strongest economy, and its currency was backed by gold. At the time, every dollar could be traded for real gold. That gave it value, credibility, and global trust. Instead of holding gold in their vaults, countries began holding dollars. And that was the moment the US dollar became the central pillar of international trade. But things changed. By the 1960s and early 70s, the US was spending heavily on the Vietnam War and domestic programs. It printed more dollars than it had gold to back. In 1971, President Richard Nixon took a drastic step. He cut the dollar's link to gold. That temporary suspension, still in effect today. And just like that, the dollar became a fiat currency, valuable only because people believed in it. And despite no longer being backed by gold, the dollar's power didn't disappear. In fact, it got stronger. So how did the dollar stay on top? One word: oil. In the 1970s, the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and other oil-rich nations. Sell your oil in US dollars, and we'll give you military protection. They agreed. From that moment on, if countries like Japan, France, or India wanted oil, they had to buy dollars first. This created the petrodollar system, and it locked global demand for the dollar into place. Even if you weren't trading with America, you still needed dollars. And when a country needs something, it stores it. That's why dollar reserves grew everywhere. Fast forward to today, and the dollar still rules. Over 85% of all global currency exchanges involve the US dollar. More than 60% of the world's foreign reserves are held in dollars. Most global commodities, from gold to wheat to microchips, are priced in dollars. Even international loans and debts are usually in dollars, especially for developing countries. And here's why. The US economy is huge. Its bond market is deep and liquid. Its political and legal system, while far from perfect, is more stable than most. For investors and governments around the world, the dollar means safety. And in times of crisis, everyone runs to it. Now here's the big question. Who gains from dollar dominance? America does, massively. The US can print dollars to buy goods from other countries. It can run huge deficits without collapsing. It's like having a global credit card with no spending limit. But for many other countries, it's a trap. If the US raises interest rates, the dollar strengthens and other currencies weaken. That makes it harder for poorer nations to repay their debts, which are often in dollars. It drives up the cost of imports, fuel, and food in dozens of countries, triggering inflation and even unrest. We saw this in Sri Lanka, Argentina, and Ghana. When the US sneezes, the world catches a cold. Not everyone's happy about this. Major powers are looking for ways to escape dollar dominance. China is making oil deals in yuan. Russia is bypassing the dollar in trade with India and Iran. BRICS nations are talking about creating a new reserve currency. And let's not forget crypto, which offers a decentralized alternative to government-issued money. But here's the problem. The world's financial infrastructure, from banks to payment systems, runs on dollars. Trust in a currency isn't built overnight. It takes decades. And while many are trying to build a future without the dollar, no one's quite figured out how. So what does all this mean for you? It means the strength of the dollar can affect your grocery prices, your rent, your travel costs, even your country's economic stability. The US dollar isn't just America's currency anymore. It's the world's currency. And unless the global system is rebuilt from the ground up, the dollar's grip on the world will stay firm. But if that grip loosens, it could trigger a global economic reset unlike anything we've ever seen. Global money isn't just about numbers, it's about power. And right now, that power flows through Washington. Understanding how the dollar moves the world helps you move smarter in it.